Welcome to another episode of The Artsy Raven, a show about writing and publishing with your host, J.F. Garrard.
Welcome to another episode of the Artsy Raven. Today, our special guest is Samantha Ong. So, Samantha is the founder of Joeydolls, a Toronto based toy company on a mission to celebrate culture, identity, and belonging through play. Inspired by her own experience growing up without dolls that reflected her heritage, Samantha created Joeydolls to help all children see themselves and others with pride and empathy. Since launching in 2023, Joeydolls have sold over 15,000 dolls worldwide and continues to expand its diverse line to represent more cultures and communities. Featured on Dragon's Den Canada, CBC News, and Good Housekeeping, Joeydolls has earned national recognition for fostering inclusivity and joy in every child's playroom. Samantha's work continues to spark meaningful conversation about representation, diversity, and cultural connection. So, welcome, Samantha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start Joeydolls.
Yeah, so I'm actually Malaysian Chinese. I was born there, but I grew up in Australia. So definitely grew up, knowing and feeling I was a minority. I remember looking around the classroom thinking, oh, everyone else is so lucky to be born, looking the way that they did, and I wasn't as lucky. I remember like thinking that they were so pretty and I wasn't, and that I could never be like someone that was more like prominent, like I remember thinking that I could never be a princess, that like looking what was out there, that there was no one that looked like me. And I just, yeah, I didn't really have a lot of self-confidence and like pride for my culture. I remember even telling my dad, like, speak English, like, don't speak Chinese, like, we're here in Australia, So, um, yeah, I think there was a long period of time that I wasn't as proud as I am now to be Asian. But not only that, like to be like later on, of course, like having children, and I think you really start to relive your childhood through their eyes, and you start to think like, I don't want them to experience the same things that I did. And I think, that motherly instinct, you want to do everything that you can to help your children feel proud of who they are, because you're so proud of who they are. And um, and the idea really came about during the pandemic. So as we're all stuck at home, we couldn't really talk to anybody. My daughter didn't have any friends, and I was like, oh, it's like it was really lonely times when we were stuck at home, and also watching what was going on, like the rise of anti-Asian hate. And I just thought, like, oh gosh, like all those feelings came back again, like invisibility, shame. And so I just thought, like, I don't want her to feel like that. And as I was looking for dolls to really like comfort her, during those times, I was so shocked that there was still not much out there in terms of dolls. Like what was out there was pretty stereotypical, um, kind of made for like older children, but just something that I couldn't really connect with. Like, especially it was around, she was turning around 1 years old at the time, and I was trying to prepare for her 1 year old birthday, and I was thinking I would love to have her wear her Chinese outfit, her Korean outfit, and I just thought like, what? Why don't dolls wear these outfits and like celebrate our culture the way that we try to do that with our children? Yeah.
Okay, now you were born in Australia, so how did you end up in Canada?
Oh yeah, good question. So actually, I like right after university, I worked in the insurance industry for like almost 2 years, and then I was just like, I don't know, I need something different. And even actually, I'll take you a little bit step back. Um, in high school, I was always a very creative person, but I always did really well at math or really well just academically. So I was always pushed by my parents or teachers to follow a specific path, like the typical Asian path or someone that they recognize that does well, you should go down this path. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really love web design. I really love, yeah, just creating. And yeah, I was really pushed to just follow a more straight line path, which was I fell into just doing a commerce degree. And so when I went into the insurance industry, I was like, oh gosh, like, what am I doing? And then I just thought, like, I need something, like, just something completely different. So I just like quit my job, packed my bags, moved to Canada. I was like right after the financial crisis. But I cannot, like, I just need to do this now. I did not have any money. I had like $3,000. I came here and it was really difficult to find a job. I really thought I could find a different type of job. Like, even when I was working in insurance, I thought maybe banking. Didn't realize how difficult it was as a non-Canadian to work in bank. And then I went back into insurance. And then funnily enough, after a couple of years, I actually finally ended up quitting that whole industry and I actually became a wedding photographer. So when it was during the pandemic, that was
Wow.
when I was actually had to pivot once again because of the pandemic. Like weddings were canceled and postponed all over the place. And when I moved into wedding photography, I thought like, oh, this is it. This is who I am. I finally get to do what I do. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, who am I? Like, if I can't do what I thought I wanted to do, who am I? What purpose do I have in this world? And that's when I really started to question like, what impact can I make? And especially because I loved wedding photography so much, I actually made it my entire life. Like I was working all the time and I became so overworked that I actually also kind of lost myself in it. And I just thought like, there's must be something that I can do to make like a bigger impact. And especially being in the service industry, you can only like really service one person at a time. And during the pandemic, I just thought there must be something. And so when I came up with the idea of creating dolls, I just like, oh wow, like I could make this impact globally with many children to help them feel proud of who they are.
Oh, very cool. Now, so you had this idea to make a doll.
Yes.
Like, I guess you had to learn to build connections, I'm guessing, to eventually design and manufacture. Like, was that very hard to do?
Oh my gosh, so hard because I have like I don't know I'm a creative person, but like sewing is not my strong suit. And I really wanted to create like a soft doll that would give like younger children comfort. And as I was doing a lot of research, like children actually notice racial differences really early, much earlier than you think. And as I started to borrow books from the library, like wasn't really a lot we could do during the pandemic, but I borrowed books from the library and I was looking up like how to make like rag dolls, things like that, looking on YouTube, and then like trying to find like people virtually to help me through the process. So like I initially found this doll designer in um, Montreal, and then she like designed the actual body, sent it to me, and I was like back and forth. And I tried to find someone even more locally to help me design the hair and stuff. And then we would try to do it virtually. Sometimes I would like drive up to her and mark them, and then it was like this thing during the pandemic. It was very difficult to work collaboratively, and especially after that, I realized how difficult it was to obtain even just something as simple as like skin tones. Like there wasn't very many skin tones here. Like you would think there would be various shades of beige or brown or no. And so then that's when I really thought, oh my gosh, I really have to go overseas to get the right skin tones, to get the right fabrics, especially because my mission was to make them as culturally as accurate as possible. And that was a big part because I really wanted children to connect to their culture, but not at an early age. But not only that, for families as a whole to really feel proud of what this doll represents for their family. Yeah.
Now, what do you think was the most challenging thing over the course of building your company?
Yeah, I think definitely getting started, especially because this was something completely new. And also the amount of funding and like just the research and even just putting it into production was so hard. Like, of course, finding the right manufacturer, it took a couple of years to find the right manufacturer. I went through a couple of manufacturers when I finally did go overseas, but not even being able to like go in person and things like that at the time. And but I think just financially it was so difficult because everything costs so much money. To get this advice, to get that advice, for you to explore this avenue always costs more money. And because for me, like I was in lack of money because I had lost like thousands of dollars of contracts during the pandemic. Because when weddings were canceled, but it was still also still having to fulfill a lot of like work, even though I wasn't getting paid. Um, so I tried to do everything on a very like shoestring budget as much as possible, and I tried to do everything myself. So even to this day, like I do a lot of things myself because it's still personally funded. But that I think was a huge drain. And especially because my daughter was so young. She was 1 year old. She needed me so much, and I didn't have that extra support like family wise during the pandemic. And so I was up really late, like 1, 2 a.m. sometimes, and then waking up at like 6 a.m. when she wakes up. It was just very draining overall. Yeah.
Now, mean, I see in your bio you were on Dragon's Den. Like, I don't know, I didn't look up the episode, but what was that experience like? And were you
Yeah.
successful or?
So actually, I filmed it in May, and it's airing this January. So yeah, stay tuned for it. I can't say what happens yet because it's still to air. I definitely the success that I say is that for me to be able to go on a show like that with so much exposure and talk about what representation means for me and my family and the impact that we've been able to make in such a short period of time is like the real win. So I don't know how it will play out. I think we'll have to see like how it gets shown on TV. But I really hope that we can really show the world that Asian representation matters. That we've been saying it for a really long time, and we see it in we see it more now like than ever, like through movies and just like even just like K-pop Demon Hunt was so crazy. It was just but that's just like the proof that people want to and love like to hear these Asian stories, and then it means a lot to people. Yeah.
Okay, so you've sold over 15,000 dolls. Like, are
Yeah.
there any, are you planning to expand it more? Like, are there more new cultures you're thinking of representing?
Always, always. Yeah, I wish I could do more than I can, but I am really only one person. Um, so this year, I uh, decided, because we started off with our larger signature doll range, which is like 18 inches, and I really wanted them to be that big because I really wanted children to feel like they were their friends, versus more like a baby doll. Especially because it started off during the pandemic. I really wanted my daughter to have like a friend, and since that time, I decided I also wanted to make them as affordable and accessible as possible, even for even younger children. So I came up with like smaller versions, and I think like being able to do like one line and then another line now, I think especially because of like increased tariffs and costs and stuff like that, I think that in the smaller line I'm able to do more, like test to really expand the line faster. So we've had a lot of requests for even boys. We
Mm.
have one boy right now. I really want to continue on that, but we always get like tons of requests. Like we just launched a Mexican doll range as well, like just to expand beyond Asian culture, just because like this isn't just like an Asian need, it's like a global need. We've had so many requests even beyond the Asian community that people of Puerto Rican, Colombian are all like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a dog like this too. Like, so I think, there's so much work to be done. And even within the Asian community, like, I guess I have done 7 cultures within the Asian community, but it's still not enough. There's so many ethnicities just within Asia that are so underrepresented. Like, I'm from Malaysia and we still don't even have a Malaysian doll. And yeah. And so, yeah, this is so much that I wish I could do. But that is absolutely my mission, is that I hope that we can represent as many cultures as we can.
Okay. Now, do you have any new projects or partnerships on the horizon for Joey Dolls? Or...
Yeah, so actually, I'm working with two authors to come up with stories to go with the dolls because I really wanted the dolls to be more than just a toy. I really wanted them to be educational. And yes, right now each doll like comes with a QR code. You can learn more about their outfit, the meaning of their name, and some of the traditions, stuff like that. But I also want it to be just a lot more interactive, especially because we are targeting a younger age group. So I think like stories and of course, play is like the best way that children really learn. And so I have some storybooks coming. We yeah, I'd say would be the most immediate thing that is coming out. I am working with like some potential partnerships, but also like I really want to just also retain as much like authenticity with our brand as possible, because that has been our primary goal is that I don't want our mission to ever become diluted, that then we'll become like any other doll brand where like the representation is very vague. Yeah. And that's exactly why I like when we came up with the dolls, I didn't want just like an Asian doll, like just some broad Asian doll. I really wanted to be really specific, and that yeah, it's so important for children to identify with their heritage in a way like that.
Cool. Now, what do you think the most important lesson you've learned as a founder of a company?
Yeah, that you know, even recently, I went to an ecom conference, and there were some more larger, well, startup companies that have become quite large now. Like they've been able to scale, and even for them, they were saying like, "Oh, we made a lot of mistakes. We learned from them." And I was like listening to it, and oh yeah, that's interesting. I'll make, and I won't make those mistakes. And and of course, like these things happen because you're doing it all for the first time. There's only so much you can do. You're just this one person. You're this small, and like just very recently, like we just completely didn't think about like our goods in transit like coverage, and even though we have business insurance, I've had multiple business coaches and advisors. Even recently did like Y Space accelerator program. So went through multiple mentors, things like that, like learned so much, but yet no one ever really, we never all talked about like but the importance of like goods in transit, like marine cargo insurance, which is
Yeah.
what like yeah. And so like, oh my God, like I've learned like all these things, and then yet like the one thing that it could have saved me like $50,000, which is very personal to me because
Mhm.
like we've been self-funding this all ourselves, and yeah, it's just like it's gone just like that. So I think I
So
think
tell
it
me a
just
little bit
comes.
what happened, because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
some
of
people don't
course.
know.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was I ordered this production order in May because it takes that long. It takes that long to produce the dolls. They're all handmade, and then it takes a really long time for shipping. Actually, I don't think people really realize how long it takes. Is like Amazon Prime is just like that. But yeah, it takes that long. So I ordered in May. I was expecting it sometime October, November, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I was checking in with my freight forwarder, and they're like, "Oh, it's on a bad rail car, it needs repairing." And then kept following up, and it turns out that a rock slide, I guess, hit the rail, the train. It completely derailed. Our container was completely damaged, and then yeah, our container is not a total loss. So unfortunately, the prepaid expenses that we for us was like over nearly 50,000, and it was actually worth around over $200,000 of revenue for us, especially because I ordered it for the holiday season and for Lunar New Year, like Dragon's Den, and like those are the things that I was really counting on to fulfill, like you do all your
Yeah.
projections, and then you expect that money to come in so you can pay all your other things. So it was a huge loss for us, and especially because even if I was able to put another order in, it's going to be another 6 months. And yeah, we just was completely devastating. I really thought that we could salvage at least something from it, but it being toys, dolls, I think the container completely broke open, and it was actually in a very remote area, so it wasn't looked at for many weeks. Yeah.
Oh, horrible. But yeah, insurance is not, yeah, one of the things that come top of mind for a lot of
No,
people.
yeah.
So yeah.
I know, and we have business insurance, but we never ever thought, okay, let's add a marine cargo insurance policy. And I used to work in insurance too, so I definitely handle marine and cargo insurance. And it's funny because like when I was doing it, I was always doing it for like really large companies, and so it wasn't ever something that I thought like, especially me being so small, that it was something that I needed to reevaluate every year. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were talking to new entrepreneurs, do you have any advice you would like to give to someone who wants to start a company?
Yeah, so I think like having a good network of people in it, because like even right now, I just feel like it is a lonely journey being an entrepreneur. Um, Not many people will get it. Like especially a lot of my friends aren't entrepreneurs, and we just go through a lot of ups and downs and challenges that people don't really understand. And that I think finding the network that can really encourage you, especially during times like this, something like this can kind of break you. Like you can go, oh my gosh, like why did this have to happen to me, and then just like give up. And so many times I've wanted to give up, but I think firstly, I think finding a real attachment to your why. Like I think for me, like I have a real sense of purpose in what we do, and why I can't give up, because like our community also has been so strong for us. Like when these things happen, they continue to remind me why we exist and why we're so needed, and that I can't give up. And I think that's so crucial, because otherwise you can just give up in a second, like all that work that you've done. But I think being able to use these instances and try to come back from it in however way you can, is the like how you can really win, because like bad things are or unlucky things are going to happen, I think, regardless. You can't shield yourself from it. It's just really how you pick yourself up and keep going. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Course. Thank you. Thank you for having me and sharing our story. It means a lot. I think one of the biggest challenges, of course, is like how can I get our story out? And so yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk with you.
Yeah, when the Dragon's Den episode airs, I'll try to find a link and put it in the podcast notes so people can listen.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much. All right. Bye.
The Artsy Raven is produced by Dark Heel Express. Introduction voiceover by Chris Gorman. Music by Tim Moore. Please access your bonus content on the Patreon website. Thank you very much for listening, and please stay safe.